Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with your fantastic host, the man who made a film just so I can keep the movie rights, Carl Charles, and
And the man who's Super Scroll but not CY Chung.
wait, what? Oh yeah, I just
Yeah.
realised that reference.
So
And
we are gonna have a
oh,
look at the Fantastic Four live action Fox franchise. Or
well,
no, we call it a real franchise when you can't I mean, more than two movies in a row with the same characters. But yeah.
yeah. But was
Uh,
the 1994 one done by Fox as well, or
well, yeah, I think so. Wait,
was it?
no, isn't it?
I
Is
was
it?
never too sure.
Well, okay, no. Okay, I think Fox had the rights to it. Maybe Constantine Film had the rights to it. I don't know. It's got something to do
Yeah,
with something. Um, Maybe Fox are just the producers,
that makes more
yeah,
sense.
or the distributors. But in either case, we're gonna have a look at the 1994 Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
the 2005 Tim Story Fantastic Four, the 2007 Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer,
Yep.
and Josh Trank's 2015 Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Um, so any thoughts on that? Whatever. We'll go because whatever. It's a natural conversation. We'll be whatever.
Yeah. Um.
All right, let me start. Let me ask you, how
Yeah.
many times have you watched each of these films?
The Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer. I've watched that a
Yeah,
number of times. Um.
really?
Yeah.
I think I've watched once each in the cinema, maybe once each when it came on Sky, and then once each again because we were gonna have this conversation.
Yeah. No. I because this came out when the comic book films weren't really all
Yeah,
far and in between. So I don't know. I watched them quite a lot because I didn't mind them. They weren't like
yeah.
terrible or
Well, that's the
anything.
thing. They were forgettable. That's the thing. They weren't amazing. They were just kind of there, and I'll get to it a bit later on when as part of the story stuff. But yeah, I didn't particularly had a desire to watch these films a lot.
Hmm. Okay.
Josh Trank's one, yeah, I probably saw it about maybe three times. Same,
Yeah.
like once on. No, I didn't watch it in cinema. I probably watched it twice on TV and
Hmm.
once again. Um, and that was for the reshoots because you gotta watch it. You hear how much trouble production is, and
Yeah.
then you have to look out for Kate Mara's wig.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I actually wanted to watch it at cinema because I heard of how bad it is. You know when you watch a film that you know is a train wreck, to see if it's
Yeah.
entertaining, right? And there's bits of this film I like and bits that I didn't like, but it wasn't an entertaining train wreck. That's the problem.
No. It was one of those films like I could kind of see where they were trying to go,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And the Roger Corman, which he didn't direct, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Someone else directed, but Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. I think they used his name to because he's a producer and he was like well known for cheap, schlocky movies, B movies,
Yeah.
the king of the B movies, I believe he was called. How many times have you seen this?
Um I think I'll say one and a half. Because I
One and a
tried
half.
watching this again and I just couldn't.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough, fair
'Cause-
enough. I watched it because we knew we were having this conversation.
yeah, I same here. I got through. I was like, I kept on falling asleep. I was like, no, I this deserves my attention, but I couldn't do
It
it.
also doesn't deserve your attention.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, and this might be a controversial opinion,
Hmm.
as for the best interpretation, live action interpretation of Doctor Doom, right?
Yeah.
I might give it to this film because
Yeah, I can see
he
that.
acts so over the top and that's how comic book Doom is. He talks in capital letters in those italic fonts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his movements are over the top. In a comic book, that's a static image, right?
Yeah.
This guy at one point, he's got a Fantastic Four like captured or something like that, and then
Yeah.
they break out. Oh, he goes, he said something back to his henchmen, and I'll be back once you guys, revel in the of how superior Doom is to you. Yeah, steps out, his henchmen get beat up, whatever. He comes back, and goes, ha ha ha. Now have you? Oh, I was like, right,
You,
yeah.
you know what this reminded me of? because it's sort of in the same vein.
Are you gonna say the Justice League live action film?
No, because I'll probably say that's better than this.
Oh what?
The Nick Fury TV movie.
Oh, okay.
It
You know
kind of
what,
has
though?
that feel to it.
This movie is like a TV movie, but then they it's at the budget of a TV movie, and it was produced not even to get released.
Yeah.
It was just to hold on to rights, as you said earlier, right?
Yeah.
And I can see why everything's so cheap, right? And it does look like a TV pilot that doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. Starts in it.
Yeah, but I have to say the thing looks pretty solid as a costume.
Yeah. I'll
And
give
there
it
were some
that.
bits.
That was
There were some bits where I believe that instead of having the thing fight, they'll just spin the screen or something like that, and they'll be like, "Yeah, that's the action done."
Yeah, his costume was alright.
Yeah.
Everyone else was kind of terrible.
Yeah, well, everyone else is more spandex, but you can't. Yeah, really, they're not
Not
particularly
even the
good.
spandex. It's like just how their powers and stuff are just like
Yeah.
terrible.
I'll tell you what's also funny is the thing Ben Grimm has Ben Grimm. The guy they got to act as Ben Grimm actually is bigger than when he turns into the thing, which is
Yeah.
strange.
Which makes no
Because you're
sense.
like,
yeah.
all right, so if you got that guy who was Ben Grimm, 6'5", right,
Yeah.
and then you put him in the thing costume, he should be bigger, right?
Yeah.
He somehow loses height,
Should be.
and in mid movie somehow he turns back into a human thing for no reason.
You know what, yeah? I thought I was having a hallucination because I kind of fell asleep and woke up. And he was like that. I was like, wait, have I missed? Has this film gone back to the beginning? I'm so confused. Then he turned back to the things like, okay. I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Hilarious.
there's good. I want to say there's good and bad things. It's quite laughable as a film, right?
Very, yeah.
Yeah. Reed Richards comes off more sinister than our boy Charles Xavier with the way that he's okay. So he looks like there's actors that basically Reed Richards quote unquote is in college with Doom, even though the actor looks like he's clearly not in college. Right? Looks like a grown man, and he visits Professor Storm's house, or what you want to call him, right?
Yeah.
Doctor Storm, whatever.
Yeah.
Sue Storm looks like she's 12 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're all besties and stuff like that. And then she's always had that thing for him for like 10 years or some craziness, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But it does say 10 years later, right? Or
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah.
So she's 22?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to say she's 50. Whatever you want to say she is, right?
Yeah.
But a grown man being friends with a little child like that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean,
Lots of questions.
yeah.
Yeah, because when it happened, I was like, oh, no, don't be
Don't do
doing
that.
this. This is something that Marvel tries to make everyone forget at this moment, so we won't bring this up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, it's craziness. What do you? I have to say, okay. Tim Story is fantastic for films.
Yep.
I did like they had a practical thing. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And I did like the official stats for the thing back in the time when they were doing it. It was only meant to be 6 foot, and Mr. Fantastic 6'1", right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not holding up to people to heights because Human Torch is meant to be 5'10", and Chris Evans is like 6'1", but that doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, no.
The thing is, slightly shorter and denser than Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sideways. But they always make him. They seem to make him bigger because he could look like a hulking monster, right?
Yeah.
So the only comics accurate thing is from these films at the moment. When I say these films, I mean the 2 Tim Story films.
Yeah.
I was to say, what made me laugh as well when so the thing gets turned into the thing, right? Convenient, by the way. They always make their powers instead of like they got hit by cosmic rays and then they got the powers, right?
Yeah.
But then now everything's got to be slightly tweaked so they can get their powers for a specific reason to align with their abilities.
Yeah.
All right. But Ben Grimm's girlfriend, wife? I think it's wife, right?
Girlfriend.
Whatever.
Fiancé. Yeah.
Yeah. She, first of all, right, he gets turned into the thing. he then runs off and goes to their apartment and calls from the phone box. And somehow his big fat fingers can't hit the buttons properly, yeah?
Yeah.
Which is fine, right? Because there's a joke there. So he calls her, look in his trench coat and his fedora hat, yeah, looking very sinister, by the way, because ladies in negligee, yeah, nightwear. You look through a window, and you're in a trench coat and whatnot. So yeah, forget the sinister, the shady vibe from that, right?
Yeah.
But she comes down in the streets in her nightwear as well. I'm like, woman, what's wrong with you? Like, you can see out the window. Yeah, you don't see Ben Grimm out the window. You just see a dude in a trench coat and a fedora, and he's asking you to come downstairs, right? And he don't even take the time to change, or put something on when you go down there, right? And it's fine, right? Okay, no, I'm just saying it's fine, right? Okay, fine, whatever logic, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so when he unveils himself as the thing, oh no, it's still me, and she's running away. Not causing a scene, of course, but she kind of does indirectly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just makes it like all of a sudden she's. If I was hearing this woman in her nightwear running away from some dude in a trench coat,
yeah,
I'd be like, this scene is weird.
Yeah, super weird.
Yeah, this scene is like, huh? Is she getting attacked or what's going on exactly here? You know, That's not the vibe that they're going for. But I was like, what?
Yeah, it's kind of. And
then when he goes onto the bridge to think about suicide, yeah, and the bird poops on him, which was kind of funny. After they do their fantastic full rescue scene, they display all the powers. She puts her ring down on the floor because she's no longer marrying him because he's the thing, right, or whatever. And he tries to pick it up. He tries to pick up the ring on the floor, and I was like, "That is so out of order to him."
Yeah.
That I kind of cracked and laughed because I was like, you can't pick it up. You can't even pick it up. You're out of order. Leave it on the floor like that for him.
Yeah, she could at least just handed it to him, like walked over, gave it to him, and left. You know,
or leave it on something that if she left on a car or something, like at least you could swoop it over. But you can't basically look at them fingers, man.
Yeah.
After as well, he rescued all them people. And shot by himself, but yeah, I was like, well, that's one heartless woman right there.
Yeah, it's just like really, that's super mean.
I tell you what, is also gratuitous in this film is that Jessica Alba had to basically get in her underwear a couple of times. Not that you actually see her in her underwear, right? That's where the thing is, because she's invisible and she's covered up at times, right? Because I want to say it's tastefully done, but it's not done for titillation.
No.
Yeah? Except for the one scene where she's made the suit. They've got their spacesuits, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's given the spacesuits to everyone.
Yeah.
And her chest just really hooked up, and Mr. Fantastic's like, oh, it's amazing. We're obviously staring at her, but not directly at her chest, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But then he's like, she's handing out the costumes, yeah, and he's like, oh, these unstable molecule costumes, great stuff. And then she's like, huh, whatever, because obviously she tried to get his attention with unzipping her top was unzipped to a level where you're like. You're trying to make him look.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I have to say as well, the way they wrote her, Sue Storm, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't exactly okay. So they had their breakup, whatever, right? Sue and but you don't have to be like frosty to the guy straight off.
Yeah.
It makes a bit like it makes it come off like harsh.
I get why he done it for the movie, so you could tell, oh, there was something there.
But he doesn't come off like that. What I'm saying is, they should have the tension. Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
But not the kind of aggressive as she was, or passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm happy for you, even though you're not with me, right? Which is good, yeah. But at the same time, it's just like she's like, well. I've settled with Victor Von Doom, but I'm not happy that you're happy for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a weird.
Yeah. I mean,
I get
fair
it.
enough. Fair enough if they went for the story that she's happy with Doom, kind of,
Yeah,
right? Then
yeah.
Doom's like, well, this shuttle up here is we're in space and we're the cosmic rays somehow we've got 7 days to test the cosmic rays in space, right? Except that the cosmic rays decide, nah, I'll give you 2 hours,
You're
mate.
coming early. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting a bit premature here. Anyways, yeah, and then Doom's like, I'm gonna shut all the sensors, I'm gonna shut all the gates and everything, so we don't die. And when Sue Storm says, what do you mean? And he goes, of course, me and you, right? Not them,
Yeah.
jabronis. And then she goes out and rescue him. Fine. And then he's like, that's the turn. That's when she's like, Victor, you're just up for yourself. Fair enough, right?
Yeah.
But they kind of did. They went for like she's not exactly nice to. She's nice to Ben, Grimm, but she wasn't exactly the nicest to Reed. Even though Reed's like trying to be nice, not trying to. He actually is being nice to her.
Yeah, but it depends on. Wait, did they say why they broke up, right?
Yeah. Well, yes. Because Reed was too interested in his science.
Yeah, so that gives her a reason to be sort of.
Yeah, but not so like
him.
that. Not that you can't. Like clearly, she doesn't want to work with him on whatever project at all, and they can't even be professional. If you know what I mean. It's not. It's just a bit. It's just a bit too much on one side. Is what I'm saying. They needed to taper that a little bit.
Nah, that's for the story.
But yeah, but it didn't need to be like that. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know. It comes off more realistic if it's that way, rather than we're wholesome friends.
Do we always say about realism versus? But well, okay. I did like how in this set of films how Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm are like how they are in the comics.
Yeah.
They kind of hate each other, but only I can be the one to hurt you. No one else hurts you.
Yeah, it's like that weird big brother thing.
Yeah. And obviously our boy Chris Evans does really well here.
Yeah.
One of the best things of the movie.
Yeah, I would say that.
Rewatching this again, Marie Menounos. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah?
I know you're talking about.
Nois, I think.
I want to say.
Yeah. She's in this film, and I was like, oh, right. Because obviously from wrestling, you're like, oh, yeah, familiar faces. But I never really, like you recognize it after the fact.
Yeah. Oh, what's her name?
Yeah.
Maria Menounos or something like that.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. What, you know that the guy playing Mr. Fantastic, Ian Griffin, he's Welsh, you know that?
Yeah. Because the accent slips up in...
Is it?
The second one.
Oh, okay. Slips up, yeah, in the second one. I was thinking, it's not bad, actually. He's not bad.
With the Fantastic Car, he goes, get in the damn thing, and his accent slips out.
Okay, so... Okay, let's go for the cast of the Fantastic Four 1994, and then we get back onto this one. Yeah? What did you think of them? Like the main four and Doctor Doom. And we don't even know the actors' names, so we're just going to call them what they are.
They were all very forgettable.
Yeah, but Doom was very memorable for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
For the right reasons of being Doom and acting exactly Doom, but in a film that didn't do anything, right?
No, not at all.
I thought the cast was not. Young Griffith actually. I thought it was a decent Mr. Fantastic actually.
Yeah, no, I like him. Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, he comes off like he's got that kind of. He's got that really odd charisma about Mr. Fantastic himself has this really odd charisma because it's inverse but not at the same time.
Yeah.
When I say that, what I mean is like okay, best call it introvert charisma. What I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not negative where he just. It's so bad he draws charisma out the room.
Yeah.
Right? It's just more like he's not drawing to attention to himself, but he's got people that listen to him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chris Evans being overtly charismatic, the most charismatic guy in the film.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and I thought Michael Chiklis was actually pretty good as thing.
Yeah, I liked him as a thing as well.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I mean, he said some silly stuff, as in don't do drugs and stuff like that. But you're like, I buy it because kind of the thing is like that.
Yeah.
And I thought him as Ben Grimm as well. I was like, it's Ben Grimm is actually, you can tell like in the film as though that he's been friends with these people for a while.
Yeah.
and he's trying to help his boy. Yes, it is a bit sneaky. Here's the thing, right? He's trying to help his boy Reed get back with Sue. Yeah? Except that she's in a relationship with Doctor Doom. Okay.
Yeah.
Victor Von Doom. Yeah. Whether she's happy or not. I mean, if she wasn't happy, then we could justify in the film. But she's in a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just. Yeah. Fair enough. You're looking out for your boy, but just don't do it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't do that.
Jessica Alba was all right, but I don't know if I could buy her as a scientist. If you told me Jessica Alba plays Black Widow or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, I accept that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this lady could pull up a, if she's a librarian as well, maybe as well. But she doesn't give me the vibe of a scientist. Is what I'm saying.
No, I get what you mean.
It's like when Denise Richards was a scientist in the James Bond film. You're like, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
And not to be mean, but yeah. Like,
not to say. Okay. Look, she could be really smart. She could be really smart. I don't know her personally, right?
Yeah.
But when you get your screen persona that fits in a certain, like your boy Vin Diesel, right?
Yeah. The greatest actor of all time.
If he played a scientist, I'd be like, no. A businessman, a lawyer, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But I know, yeah. I mean, if Chris Evans was to play scientist, I'd be like, I don't know 100% know about that exactly. It probably depends on what kind of science. Keanu Reeves plays a scientist, an engineer scientist, right? And I only bought it because you're like, you know how people sometimes people just got that skill in real life where they just know intuitively about stuff.
Yeah. So
you accept it that they know it because that's why I believe Keanu Reeves in Chain Reaction. That's why I was like, yeah, okay, fine, right?
Yeah.
Chris Evans, I don't know. He could also pull that off. Maybe it depends on the role, but I don't think I'm going to see him play the scientist anytime soon. An astronaut. He played an astronaut in one of in Solaris, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and he plays like a computer nerd in The Losers, so I could buy him as a. Depends what persona, like which persona he brings to the acting cage. You know what I mean?
It's true. Surprisingly, he's quite flexible. When he's like his surfer dude persona, which is what his films were during this time.
Yeah.
I can see you doing very type of roles within that, right? Action hero and stuff like that. Though he's quite built here as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not to the levels of his Captain America build, but he's still got a good build. That's more than his normal build.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you think of Julian McMahon as Doctor Doom?
I didn't mind it.
This version of Doom where he's evil businessman?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, no. I think the guy, he could have done better with better material. But he's like, you know what? Yeah. He's like, well, if I'm evil businessman Doom, fine. I'll just play evil businessman Doom. A little bit over the top when I need to be. Completely over the top when I get to a certain point as well.
Yeah.
And then, but I have to say, it's quite funny because how everyone else gets their powers to come on and off and on and off. His skin is turning to metal and he's like is kind of splitting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you see the metal underneath, and he's like, all right, we'll see where this goes.
I like that they did this with him. They gave him powers rather than like in comics and stuff. He technically doesn't have powers until he gets all the magic and the suit and stuff, innit?
Well, he uses his science.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I wouldn't exactly say his science is more better than Reed's. I think it's just more offensive. In a violent manner, not in like a going out to go and cuss people that are of a different race, for example. That's not the offensive I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But like it. Yeah, I preferred it. Like, he does. I'm not actually sure what his actual powers are
in this film or in
these films.
Yeah.
Like, he's got metal skin because he touched
here's the thing, right? You got earth, fire, wind, water, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic being like, water, flexible, whatever. Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, like, invisible like the air. The Thing is rocks, of course. Human Torch is fire. There's no one for heart because they don't have heart in this one. Apparently, it's metal. Yeah. All right, fine. I accept somehow the elements empower people, and I see how Doom is descent into. Okay, he's wanting more power, right? Because he got empowered. But it's like it builds through the film, so at least that's kind of like, yes, something's going to happen with him, right?
Yeah.
I think they should have had someone in the middle of the film to deal with before they get to Doom, because it's like they're feuding amongst themselves. Because I blame Reed for, I blame whoever for whoever. But it's not like a family drama in the middle there. But these two films, the Fantastic Four, Rise of the Sorcerer, and this one, they needed kind of like the adventurous side of the Fantastic Four, rather than they got I would say they got the family kind of feuding relationship where people have different opinions about it, and it brings them into verbal conflict, not like violent, aggressive conflict, but it's not like you can have different opinions. But they needed more of the adventurous side of it.
Yeah, they did, but yeah.
So that's that. What did you think of the Silver Surfer? I actually like Lawrence Fishburne's voice as Silver Surfer.
I liked it.
As a character as well, he wasn't that bad either.
No.
He was very Jesus. I will say that.
Yeah.
Come to save the world from the corruption of the whatever, and I was like, and then when he goes and gives up his life and that's the position of the cross, I'm like, right, yeah, okay, right, so where you're going.
Yeah, I never looked at it that way. I was like,
I was like, he sacrificed his life for humanity, right in my face with this.
Sacrificed more for what's her face.
For the life of Sue Storm.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Well, he brought people back from the dead. Exactly.
Who did he bring back from? Oh, he brought her back from the dead, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, right. As much science as they used in this, how they got from Doom was like, you know what? It's finally time to be the Lord of Latveria and unleash all my doomtastic powers of lightning. Somehow, you get powers of lightning when you turn into metal, whatever, right?
Electricity.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it makes sense because he got... they all had some weird thing around them when they got turned into the Fantastic Four or whatever.
The cosmic rays, yeah?
Yeah. He was touching, like, the spaceship they were in, so that's why he got the metal and the electricity,
Yeah, and I will actually say it's quite funny, the one time where he was in the Baxter building, and he was saying to Reed, you're going to fix them all, right? And he was like, because it's all your fault. Yeah. And the light started flickering.
Yeah.
Obviously, because his doom powers are coming, right?
Yeah.
And he already had the scarring at that point, and we as the viewers kind of could see him like, we'd seen him display his power or something before. Oh, a tease of something, right?
Yeah.
So we knew, like, so when the light flickered, we knew like his doom powers causing it, right?
Yeah.
And funny, he blasts Reed. He verbally, like, he shouts at him, yeah, yells at Reed. And then he looks at the lights and goes, get your damn electricity bill paid. I'm like, dude, you caused that, man.
Yeah. He doesn't know, does he?
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
What's her name was in it as well? She later becomes one of Galactus' heralds.
Frank, Frankie Nova, right?
Yeah.
Not Nova calls Nova, not Richard Rider. No, the other Nova, the female Nova. Yeah.
Her name is Frankie.
Which I found interesting at the end. Okay, so they got the right actress for it because her face through the entire thing was like Johnny Storm. I ain't having none of you. And I was like, all right. Well, I can tell by that face you didn't want anything to do with him in the first place. Somehow.
Yeah.
You didn't have to say no words. So either she's a great actress or they just hide it, for the way that she kind of gives that disdainful look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But how he... So at the end, obviously... see, the second one was so weird, right? Because they're like, oh, the main crux of this thing is... Yeah. The wedding of the century. Sue Storm and Reed Richards getting married. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Right, so you're telling me the main event of this Fantastic Four movie is the wedding?
Yeah, because they're
And then
celebrities.
and Jessica Alba's got a wig here, but
Yeah,
I tell you what's was funny as well because she had a zit on her head, but she turned invisible,
yeah.
and then we never saw again. So through the entire film, she just turned her zit, she held,
Her
she held,
concentration was held on that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Hey
I
man.
was like, right. I
I
think it was a
guess.
joke, and then because they never referenced it again, you just kind of assume, all right, I guess she must that must be the case. Must be the case. She didn't
Yeah.
pop it or nothing.
It's like one
Um,
of those things that. Oh, okay. I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
guess.
yeah. And then they brought into conflict with each other again. I'm like, yeah, but you kind of if you should be going on the adventure that causes then not an issue later on, but that's what kicks off the story. All I see you guys is having a go at each other or whatever. Um, yeah, just step out into the negative zone or wherever the other places that you usually go. You know, the
Yeah.
the, the fifth dimension or something into space or something, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Down in the tunnels to fight the mole man, whatever. Yeah. And I like so Doom comes back somehow, right?
Yeah.
Because okay, they oh yeah, right. So they team up to use their superpowers on Doom in the end of the first movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, I am Doom, and I'll just it's time for me to hey, this movie needs a villain, a
Yeah.
third act fight. It's time for me to do what I need to do or was hired to do, right? Right.
Yeah.
All right. So then, yeah, they superheat him. And then
And
they spray
freeze
water
him.
all over him. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and then his joints get kind of frozen on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, and then somehow 2 years later, I don't even know how many years later it actually is in the movie, right? But a couple of years later, and then he's somehow able to move. Or yeah, they've kept him in the cell of like that area where, and he's like, oh, the Silver Surfer. Oh yeah, no, because the Silver Surfer is going around, surfing around, changing the molecules or whatever as he's passing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think somehow he passes by Latveria and he does it to Doom.
Yeah.
Awakens Doom, yeah? And
Yeah.
Doom's like sends a signal to the Silver Surfer because somehow he's smart now as well. Even though he never displayed any smartness in the previous movie. Like
Who?
when I say science smarts, yeah?
Yeah, it did.
And yeah, like sorry?
They make it in passing mention in the first one. That's
Yeah,
how him
yeah,
and
yeah.
Reed know
But
each
no, I'm
other.
just saying he didn't display any.
Well, they mention it, they don't really
Yeah, yeah,
display
yeah.
it.
Yeah, but that's like saying, like same ways they mentioned that Sue Storm's a scientist, and we're like, I don't know about that, Jessica Alba, but at least they give it a dialogue to try and get us to believe it.
But they do mention it, even when he kills the people in his boardroom. They're like,
Oh,
Victor, you might be smart, but you're
okay,
just
fair
a
enough,
thug or something.
right,
It's like, okay, cool.
fair enough.
Then you kill
Okay,
the guy.
cool. No, that's fine, that's fine. I'm just like, right. So, and Silver Surfer, Doom's like, well, Silver Surfer, you know what? I'm just gonna mouth off at you, and the Silver Surfer's like, nah, boy, I'm gonna shoot you with my cosmic ray or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then somehow that resets Doom because you don't see him in the he's wearing that cloak thing. Right?
Yeah.
So you never kind of actually see how metallized he is. But anyway, he's got blasted by Silver Surfer, and somehow that turns him back into a human. Whatever,
Yeah.
right? I accept. Move on. And yeah, it's where this like Johnny. I also accept how like because they set the Surfer up as whatever he does adjust the molecules. It somehow can phase shift. I don't exactly know, right?
Yeah, he
Who knows
messes around.
exactly?
He messes up people's molecules when
All
he
I'm
touches
saying
them,
is
right?
his
Yeah.
powers are convenient for the story that they wanted to tell for the film.
Yeah.
And then they don't explain it because they don't need to because it's cosmic. I mean, how are you going to
Yeah.
explain stuff
Can't
that's
explain
alien to the humans?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, then I like how basically when it's like the thing, so Human Torch gets touched by Silver Surfer, and he's like, this everything feels a bit wrong.
Yeah.
And I think he touches this Sue, and then he turns up invisible. She's wearing clothes. So she turns into fire and it burns off all her clothes. Oh, like, all right. But she's covered in flames, so you don't see nothing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, fair enough. But when she switches her powers back on, obviously and then she has,
naked.
and then she has turn invisible. Not that you see anything again, but it's just like, okay, right. Jessica Alba, no need to see claws in action. And yeah, so
Yeah, that was a bit
there was
weird.
a good funny bit where the thing is like, oh, I don't know. Ben Grimm's like, oh, really, really. So something's like Reed's like something, you touch the surfer and something odd happened with power transference, whatever. And things like, oh, let me head over there.
Yeah.
Boom. And he's like, oh yeah, they can make fire. Back human make fire. And then Chris Evans is in the thing costume with his hair on top of his on top of the Baltic's head. Yeah, that's great though. It's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. And yeah, they how they had to save the London Eye.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually in London. I don't think it was in London, but whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of really because Human Torch it's got that power transference
on the fritz and sort of thing.
Yeah. So they kind of have to readjust because he collides into him and stuff like that. It would have been cooler if they had to then work out what to do with the powers that they don't have. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I know Reed, he collided with Reed, and basically Reed's had the Human Torch powers, but he couldn't stretch anymore.
Yeah.
So it'd be good because if they kind of rejig that, and then people were like, all right, let's go by what we've seen other people do with their abilities, and hopefully we can resolve this thing right here because it's just the London Eye falling over. Whatever.
Yeah.
That would be neat to see because then it's like adaptation and how Reed thinks on the fly.
Yeah,
to fix things for
I mean, cool, but then this story have to go a different way.
No. I'm saying for that sequence. I'm only saying for that sequence.
Like if they did that later on in the film, like this scene now, but later on in the film when they've kind of like come to terms with what's going on, then that'd be pretty cool. But if you did it then at this point, it'd be like that's kind of weird.
But yeah, Doom's like, I'm gonna of course ask these people to help me capture the Silver Surfer. Of course, I turn on him. By the way, there was a really good sequence that they, and I'm sure you read Ultimate Fantastic Four at this point, so you know it.
Yeah.
Where the military are asking Reed to come help them, and then the military leader's like, see, this is what happens. You've never been a team player, Reed, and this is what happens when you don't play football. You don't know how to work with other people, right? And first of all, he's working with the entire Fantastic Four, so you can shut your mouth right there. Okay? But secondly, he's like, right, no, you're right. I never played football. Right? I never was a star quarterback or nothing. I just sat down and read my books and be a good little nerd. And here's the thing. Now the captain of the football team, you, is asking me for my help. And you know what? Yeah, I can refuse you. You cannot do anything if I say no.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, he didn't say exactly like that. But
yeah.
He's like, you know what? I got you over the barrel. You haven't got nothing on me.
Yeah, you need me more than I need you.
Yeah.
I like that bit. I was like, oh, good on you, Reed. You're finally sticking up for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loser.
Yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, Doom's like, okay, well, I'll just take the Silver Surfer's power because why not?
Yeah.
I'm Doctor Doom. I'm going to do that. I mean, even like from the entire movie we're watching, like from the very beginning what he's going to do. And yet somehow convince the military that he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
And they buy it, and then he does it anyways. Right? And then Johnny. Then they're like, well, he's got the Silver Surfer's power and the board, right? But no one could get. You're like, he's flying. We can't get to him. We can't hurt him, right? Unless of course, Johnny Storm's like, well, unless of course you combine all your powers to me, right? And and then he becomes basically the Super Skrull, but not. And I like how he was able to use everyone's powers. Not fantastically, but just like intuitively. Yeah. And also that Ben Grimm got into a forklift, not a forklift, what's it called?
Yeah.
Construction trucks and stuff, and was help swinging that girder into Doctor Doom. Fine.
Well, superpower Doom, yeah.
Yeah.
Surfer Doom.
Yeah. Moving on to Fantastic or Fanforstic or however you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, what did you think of the cast?
I don't. They were okay. I had no problems when they were announced. I was like, oh, you know what? They could all be pretty good.
Yeah. That's the thing is, I was also thinking the same. They could all be pretty good.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, the cast is good. Like everyone.
Yeah, well, they're good actors, right? I wouldn't say they're necessarily the best casting in this particular movie, right? Michael B. Jordan, though, was really good as Johnny. Like, I could buy him as Johnny Storm. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't buy that he has a white adopted sister because conveniently the plot needs him to have that.
I could buy it.
Oh, look. I could buy this, right? If they were both black or both white or whatever, right? the actual family, or they could just be two people of the same surname, if that's the route you're going. Yeah, but it's just like, well, I have to because they have to be brother and sister. We're gonna have them one adopted because no, whatever,
No, that makes more sense than one being black, one being white, and no explanation.
Yeah, but they don't need to be related. They just happen to have the same name.
But
Same
then-
it's the joke in Die Hard. Remember Die Hard?
Yeah,
where
but that's...
Agent, yeah.
Yeah, and if they did
And then
that...
and they keep on saying no relation.
Yeah, but if they did that in this film...
Yeah.
The uproar.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know.
Because you know how people are when it comes to comic book things, when they change the
Yeah.
slightest little thing,
Yeah.
you've ruined everything, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
I didn't mind Miles Teller as Reed Richards here as well, but okay,
Yeah, I didn't mind him.
Kate Mara as yeah. I mean, I could buy her more as a scientist, but I don't think she got given much to do.
No.
And the thing, I mean, I don't know if Jamie Bell is more Ben Grimm, but when he turned into the thing, I was like, oh, okay, fine. But that's CG, not the actual
Yeah.
physics.
Realistically, he didn't need to really be there.
Yeah. Toby Kebbell as Doom, but Toby Kebbell can do good. They just didn't really give him much to do as Doom.
I liked him as Doom.
No, but not as Doctor Doom. As
Yeah.
Victor Von Doom, the scientist, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I'll get to the rest of that in a second.
Yeah.
But Reggie Cathy as Franklin Storm, or as I call him, the fake Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Because if you close your eyes, he just sounds like.
He does.
He doesn't sound exactly the same as Morgan
But you could
Freeman,
easily
but it's just-
mistake him.
Yeah. It's not that they could copy and paste the voice, but it's the cadence as well, and some
Yeah.
the gravitas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The voice is deeper, but he gives those vibes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this film I actually liked the first 2/3 of it, and when I say the first 2/3 of it, I mean like the point where they're creating the device to go into the Planet Zero, quote unquote. Yeah. But actually, the negative zone is what we're going to call it because that makes more sense. Right?
Yeah, technically it's a negative zone.
Yeah. I like that they were kind of like they're science bros and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
My Johnny Storm, he's an engineer, he could create his own cars, right? Which he made out of scrap material in a cave, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it stopped working, but whatever, right? We're gonna give it to him.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I allow it. So that bit of it where it's kind of like the body horror vibes as well.
Yeah.
Where they got abilities and they go, oh, what's going on? Yeah. And that takes up because an hour and a half, that takes up like an hour of the film. So if there was another hour and something plus, this could have been something. Instead, they're like, no, you have half an hour. We're gonna have Doom come back for no reason whatsoever somehow, right? So he drops into the vat, the liquid at on their first go around when they're a bunch of drunks, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, the military's taken away our thing, but our discovery. Let's go as those guys. Let's call the thing, right? Let's call Ben Grimm because he helped me make it when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
Let's call Ben Grimm over, right? And let's go into Planet Zero by ourselves. And for some reason, we decide to be sexist and allow Sue Storm, right?
Yeah.
Forget her. I'm like, okay, whatever. So they're looking around Planet Zero, and then there's a Planet Zero quake or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And Doom falls into the lava liquid or whatever you want to call it,
Whatever
the green
it is,
stuff.
Yeah, something.
And then somehow, right, conveniently, everyone's powers get so. When Johnny Storm gets into his pod, the fire comes through. The thing is trying to close it, but rocks fall in, and I don't know what the ones with Mr. Fantastic was. I guess some water dropped in there. I don't know exactly. And then Sue Storm got hit by when she transported them all back home. She got hit by a wind and a wave of
something.
Yeah, and it's just like, all right, whatever. But yeah, by the time they're like, all right, we got our powers now. They just jumped 1 year later, and Doctor Doom's coming back. For some reason, he comes back, gets teleported back, whatever. I think they find him on Planet Zero. No, they detect something from Planet Zero.
Yeah.
They teleport back, and he goes, nah, man, I'm heading back over to Planet Zero, by the way, right? And endangering all use the purpose because I want to destroy. I want to cause some catastrophe on Planet Zero to cause a catastrophe on Earth. I don't know exactly. Who knows exactly what he was doing?
He wanted to merge them two together.
But then why?
Because he Because he's anti-establishment. He hates you. He
No,
basically hates
but
humans.
that's the only thing. Like it's like he comes back as Doom, and then he's just like, you know what, Doom got to do what Doom got to do. Okay.
Oh, he had reason.
Oh yeah, but it wasn't. I wanted to say those reasons were why the time he became Doom, there wasn't an established reason. You would say when he's victim on Doom, fair enough, yeah.
No, but when he's Doom, it does make a reason. Makes sense why he came back. Because he was in. He got left there, and he learned that he could manipulate that planet. So if he brings that planet over to here,
Okay.
yeah,
James Bond villain vibes, yeah.
yeah, basically,
I did like okay, you know what, yeah. You know that Doctor Doom wears a mini dress essentially.
yeah.
Right? No, hold on, no, it's wrong. Darkseid wears a mini dress. Doom wears a tunic.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't go with quite those vibes, right? But yeah, I the kind of the scrap kind of costume, like okay, so in here, Human Torch and Invisible Woman had kind of costumes they made in the facility. Reed made a costume for himself that he cobbled together.
Yeah.
Fair enough, and the thing was naked.
Yeah, makes sense.
For whatever reason, yeah. But yeah, I thought this the film could have been something, but it's really weird because you're like, what I was getting from the first part of it is kind of Fantastic Voice, but not. And the rest of it, I don't think would have been Fantastic Four, but would have been a good film where it is being his original. You know, you heard about the backstory and all that stuff to this, right?
Yeah.
You know, they locked the guy out of production there. He was having, like, Josh Trank was having a bit of a, I don't know.
Douchey moments.
Yeah. But when you watch Chronicle, you like Chronicle like I do, right?
Yeah, I like Chronicle, yeah.
You can see how that, like, he could, like, if you brought those vibes into this film with a big budget, yeah. But that's more of a kind of self-discovery film, and I can see why you would do that maybe. Start off with not the powers out of control, but like what's going on with my body, whatever. Right. Then eventually master them.
Yeah.
But that's not how this film was. It's basically we got powers, skip a year, allow that, right? Doom comes back, we got to stop him. All right. Okay.
Like
So go on.
No, like say your bit. I'll say mine after.
I was gonna say there's good moments of suspense though, because when the guys like when they come back from Planet Zero, when they're searching Planet Zero and something's going wrong, when they come back from Planet Zero and you know how the stuff that's caused to their bodies, the anomalies or whatever you want to call them, the mutations, and then when Doom gets teleported back and he's just like melting people. Not quite melting me, turning people into husks and that stuff.
Yeah.
That's sinister. I mean, you like horror movie villain vibes from that.
Yeah, it's quite graphic as well.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But then go on.
No, like I kind of think this is probably the best version they could have got out of this film. Because like I think Frank Trang, whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Josh Trank, sorry.
I
think that Chronicles is like a one-off film. You can never replicate something like that. And like I think personally that got to his head, and then that's why this film went off the rails.
Right.
And that's why the studio's like, you know what, we need to push back because this has just become some out there weird film. That
I don't know. Here's obviously without seeing the original release, there's not even the original script online because I want to read that actually.
Yeah.
To see how whatever happened, right?
Yeah.
So it could have been, like you say, could have went one way, it could have went another way, right?
Yeah.
But I think we both would kind of agree on is it probably wouldn't have been the vibes of a standard superhero film.
Yeah.
It would have been something a bit more science fiction vibes. And when I say more science fiction, I just mean like there's something wrong with their bodies, and we've got to work out what the problem is. That sort of thing. Yeah. Body horror, as they do it.
Yeah, I don't think something like that you can make millions of dollars off.
No,
comic book franchise with. You know what I mean?
But I think it would have been an interesting film.
Yeah. If you took the Fantastic
Four film, I don't know. But then again, it's just like one of these films where it's similar enough to a film, but not being the film. Like The Purge 2. right?
Yeah.
Anarchy was basically a Punisher film, but not a Punisher film. Yeah. And there's many films like that
Yeah.
where they kind of that type of film, but not that type of film.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like King Solomon's Mines is basically Indiana Jones, but not Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Got all those comparisons. Yeah.
Yeah, and The Incredibles is kind of a Fantastic Four film, but not a Fantastic Four film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Yeah, I want to say this film had potential, but kind of like I don't know. I don't even think like when we were saying about the Spider-Man films, they had like the theme music was memorable, but I don't really call any music in this that I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No. Same.
Fantastic Four. The special effects were good, except for 1994 Fantastic Four, which had no budget, right?
Yeah.
So kind of all right, fair enough.
It did what it
Robert
could.
Arms as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how? So Sue Storm, right, can turn invisible, but intangible as well. Okay.
Wait, what?
In that film, and a bit where, okay, I don't get how you do this, but they somehow do make characters do this. So, Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm trips up on something. She's about to fall backwards into a spike, right? This is after the crash site.
Yeah.
It fall into a spike of scrap metal, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And instead of, like if someone's falling, yeah,
Yeah.
you would run over to them. You'd at least make a motion to run over them, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic just stretches out his hand, and then obviously he stops it because his hand is stretched. I'm like, so you're gonna stand there and not move, but somehow move your arm? Yeah, that's a bit. That's not like how. It's not how you rescue someone.
No.
That's not how you. I want to say, okay, you either do something or you don't do something, or you get into a position to do something. But you don't put out your arm to, because you're never gonna reach them. Except he does, but that that's
here or there. But yeah.
yeah, yeah. Any yeah. Bits you liked about some of these films? I mean, like, look, Doom. I like Doom in Fantastic Four 1994 because he was as hammy as he needed to be, and it was like he didn't take the film too seriously because he was having a whale of a time, but he took the character seriously because that's how the character is.
Did he though?
Well, that's how the character is. You're gonna tell me Doom doesn't come into the room, right? If you were best friends with not Victor Von Doom, but Doctor Doom, right? If you were in the villain pub with Doom, okay, and he comes in, right? Do you think he's just gonna be like, "Attention to me, everybody! Attention to me! Doctor Doom has arrived in the building."
Well, early Doom, yeah, but nowadays Doom isn't that like. Isn't like.
Oh,
that.
okay, 1994 Doom, 1994, the period it came out.
I don't even know if he was like that in 1994.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, we clearly not watching the same Doctor Doom, right?
Yeah, I like it. That took me out of it. I was like, why is this? Is
Oh no, I was enjoying it. All he needed to do was like he needed to be thrown in that area to sit down and go, yeah, this is my land, my world is all for me. He needed to take his mask off and go, it was me all along. He needs to do some Vinnie Mac over the top acting, and I'll be like, yeah. I think Vinnie Mac. I think Vince Mac took his acting from Doctor Doom. That's how far back I'm going.
I don't know. I buy Vinnie Mac more than that.
But yeah, as much as the original Fantastic, the one from 1994, I was like, the best memorable. The thing looked like it was made of pebbles and stones, yeah, but it was pretty impressive for the budget, right? And I like Doom in it as well because Doom was like, I think they had Alicia Masters held hostage. I think the jeweler, quote unquote, the mole man, right? And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a hostage, Doom. And so if you hurt me, I'll hurt the hostage. And Doom's like, I don't know this woman.
She's nothing to me.
Yeah. I legit do not know why you're threatening me about hurting this woman because I don't actually know her. And the mole was like, crap. yeah. Yeah. So, what did you like anything in the 1994 film, or are you just gonna be like, fair enough.
Yeah, it's like saying, I don't know.
Okay.
It just had too much weird things in it to put me off. I.e., the Reed Richards Sue Storm thing.
Yeah. No, I didn't ask you for things you did like. I was trying to ask you for things you did like.
Uh, I kind of found it funny the bit at the end where Johnny Storm is chasing the laser, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
it's a crappy CGI. Yeah,
Oh, did you
that's
find? I was going to say the funny bit at the end. You mean when Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman get wed, and then his rubber arm waves out of the car, but it's proper like a hand on like a wibbly wobbly inflatable hand on the stick.
I think I tuned out by that point.
All right. Anything you like from 2005 and 2007, but do 2005 first. That Fantastic Four, other than
Uh,
our boy Chris Evans.
I liked a lot of it. Like, um, I liked the whole Ben kind of betraying Reed because he thought Doctor Doom could help him change, and then Doctor Doom's
Well,
like, "Nah, dude."
no, but it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that. I mean, but Ben Grimm all film trying to get Reed back with Sue, yeah,
Yeah,
and so so they do twist that because you see what's going on, right? You see that he's losing Sue, right? But he's like, well, Reed Richards said he's coming up with a cure for you, Ben, right? But you can see all he's actually been doing is trying to hook up with Sue, which he wasn't kind of. They were just kind of getting back to
yeah,
working together and stuff like that because they were in the same boat.
yeah,
All right, he's like, yeah, look how your plan went, Ben. Look how your plan went. It went too good. In fact, right? You went her to leave me for him, right? He
yeah,
left you for her. That's how good your plan was. Inverse ability, you know.
yeah,
And then yeah, Ben Grimm's like, yeah, that's true
yeah. I'm
actually.
saying I like that. Like Doctor Doom was like conniving and stuff.
Yeah, that was a cool little bit. And then where he basically got where they had a little scuffle and Reed had him in the full Nelson.
Yeah, that CG was hilarious there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
And then
that.
and then he kind of so he Doom changed him. He steps out of the chamber. He's like, oh yeah, oh, it worked, it worked. And Doom's like, yes, bitch,
Yeah, he's
I've got
like,
your powers now. And he slaps him. Like I boosted my powers with your cosmic rays, and he slaps him across the whatever you want to, and sends him flying. Right. And he goes, now time to do the rest of them because it's exactly what Doom would do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. What else did I like about that film? I like Johnny Storm sort of introducing himself to the world. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny
And
Storm being like very much as I expect the character from the comic book to be.
yeah,
Um, like hot like spotlight hugging, right?
yeah,
But not to the level of I'm going to endanger people for the views. Yeah. If they made him a TikTok or like a reality TV star, I'd be like, oh, shit.
yeah.
Right?
Which I can kind
But
of see if they
but
did it nowadays. I could see
yeah,
them doing that.
but he already was popular and he just
Yeah,
kind of got more celebrity status out of it.
yeah.
But he was never a punk.
No,
He just was a bit didn't think about
brash,
yeah.
bit arrogant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was it's actually cool there. So he used to be Ben Grimm's not underling, but more like I'm not even subordinate, but they'd be like
apprentice sort of.
understudy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, in Astronaut whatever they were doing, right?
Yeah,
And so when the roles are flipped, and Ben and Johnny Storm's like, well, I mean, I'm the captain of the ship now. Because Doom's funding this, and I'm an astronaut. He never, but he's never so smug. He rubs it in his face to cause problems.
Yeah,
He's just
yeah,
like, oh, Robert Russell, how'd you like that, son? Hey,
yeah,
hey.
yeah,
But nudge, nudge, wink, wink style.
yeah,
So when their friendship, like when he's like putting the shaving cream on the thing's fist, and then putting the feather duster, which didn't work because it's too light. So he got the other end of the feather duster and rubbed it across his head, and he then slapped his same face because he thinks it's a fly. Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
You could like they very much were a pair.
yeah. And
And I did like actually the one mundane scene where they trapped in like not trapped, but they can't leave the apartment or something because they could have contagious whatever,
yeah,
right? And they're just using their powers in very everyday lifestyle stuff.
yeah,
Reed Richards ran out toilet paper, so he goes and reaches into the pantry, whatever, with his
yeah. To get the
with
toilet
his,
roll.
yeah, exactly. And they're just doing very very straightforward stuff, everyday stuff with their powers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I really liked it.
Yeah.
What else
Well,
did I enjoy about it? I enjoyed the Thing's costume. I thought it was pretty good.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's about.
What about Rise of the Silver Surfer?
Um,
Did you
another
like the
one.
Did you like the version of Galactus which they took from the comic, the Ultimates, which I was like, I'm not super fan of, but at the same time, it's like the Galactus Swarm, all right? The Galactus
Yeah,
Swarm.
Galactus. I didn't mind it 'cause to me, in this day, at that time period, it made sense to do him that way because you could do it now because people are more like knowledgeable about the Marvel universe and stuff. Like they
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised to see like some giant man just floating through
Well,
space.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. We'll get to it at the end, right? But maybe they could have used another villain. Then they have to go for the most popular villain because every single one of these Fantastic Four movies has Doom as the main villain.
Yeah, but then who else are they gonna use?
Oh, we'll get to that afterwards because then
Okay,
we're gonna change the conversation in the middle of it.
okay.
Um, okay, what did you like about Josh Trank's Fantastic Four?
I like Doom. I like
I
when
think
it
okay,
says
I like
everything
that
is
some.
Doom.
The best I can say is this: is like I like certain films and themes and ideas, but not exactly the execution or what the final
Yeah,
product. Yeah, okay, that's the best way I can put it.
yeah,
Did you also like at the end where they accidentally managed to have the similar sort of thing going on in to Avengers: Age of Ultron, where he's like, "Oh, this whole thing's fantastic. What did you say? Oh, we should call ourselves Boom Title Card Fantastic Four."
yeah.
Yeah, I was
I did
like,
like that.
oh, unfortunately. I mean, but that was more contrived than the Avengers one. Avengers, like, they actually are in the compound,
Yeah,
and Captain America's in charge of a group of people that never been Avengers before.
yeah.
So when he says Avengers, and he's actually saying, okay, we've upgraded you from civilian, not civilian members, but non-members to actual
Non-members.
Avengers,
Yeah.
came off much better. Um,
It's come out
all
the
right,
same year.
so for this film, instead of they go to the negative zone. I know I'm answering your question here about what other villains they could have used, right?
Yeah,
So if they were proper going to the negative zone, I know we are saying they're going to the negative zone, but
yeah,
in the film they've denied it to the negative zone
yeah.
and they call it Planet Zero. But if they encountered what do you call him, a nihilist or a nihilist?
Annihilus.
Is that how it's pronounced, or is that
I
how you
think
pronounce it?
so. I've heard it in a cartoon, so I was going with what the cartoon said.
All right, that's fine because I was like, oh, is it a more harder I, or is it kind of how like Constantine and Constantine?
Yeah,
It's actually pronounced Constantine
yeah,
because it's from Liverpool.
yeah,
Um, so it's kind of how do you do the I sound? And a nihilist, right?
yeah. Annihilus.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they could have encountered if, for example, he was part of the negative zone. Like, oh no, because he does live in a negative zone. So if
Yeah,
he was the threat, they have to band together to fight.
yeah,
Then I want to say I want to make a change from Doom, but you could say Doom for a second or third movie. Then we could be still with them, right? But have to start his heel face turn. I mean,
yeah,
his face heel turn back to face heel at the end of it. I don't know how are we going to do it, but it doesn't need to be number one guy.
yeah. But I think because of I don't know. It's like one of those things that because Doom's so tied to the Fantastic Four. I guess like studios always just automatically think, oh, you need to put it Doom in straight away because people
No,
know
but he could,
he's
he could be part of the experiment that goes wrong, and he could
yeah,
be Doctor. He could be starting to turn into like he could have right. I'm not sure if you've seen The Fly,
yeah,
but in The Fly, his body parts start falling off,
yeah,
and he's got the fly, the human fly flesh underneath, right?
yeah,
It could just be that slowly from the movie. He's like skin is falling off. You want to do like really actually
yeah. I get what you mean.
a fashion that actually makes people sick, right? But you'd be like, oh, he's just like rubbing his skin, for example, something, and you start getting a metal sheen underneath it or something like that. Whatever,
Yeah,
right? But just slowly do it. You don't need to go full on right away.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
but
So I'm just saying the Nihilist could have been negative zone. It made sense, right? If they were going to do that.
yeah.
What other Fantastic Four villains do you know of that you think would be appropriate to me? Because yeah, have you heard of the Frightful Four?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Tell me what team members. I'm not.
Pepper Pot, Pistol Pop, Is it Pistol Pot Pete?
Paste Pot Pete.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
Who later becomes a trapster in it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Um.
And by the way, I wasn't aggressively trying to question your knowledge. I was
No,
just
no,
like,
no.
tell me the members, yeah, because see if you get the same ones I got.
Is it the Wizard?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even know his powers, but I know the name.
Oh, the other two. One's a woman. I can't remember who it is. I want to
Yeah.
say. Oh, what's her name? Titan. It's not her.
No.
I can't remember the other two.
I see. One of them was the Sandman. I think at a certain period in time, Sandman was a part of that team.
Mm.
And I'd like to think the other one's Medusa, but then I was like, but that's Inhuman, right?
It could have. Oh, in the cartoon, she was because she was
Yeah.
mind wiped, and then she got her memories back.
Yeah.
And
I mean, as decent as that lineup seems, right? It's a bit weird
Yeah.
to have, especially not in the first movie, maybe maybe a second or third movie build out, but who's the wizard, you know? Who's that guy?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that'd be weird. I
Yeah.
realise that now.
I mean, the Sandman, yes, but they don't have the rights to him.
No.
Paste Pete, it'd be like, exactly what can you know? If they made a whole different team and called them the Frightful Four with whoever they had, fair enough, right? But
Yeah.
what other Fantastic Four villains that you know of?
Dragon Man, right? He's a Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Dragon Man. But what exactly is he the gargoyle geezer?
I think so.
You know what? I could see as minor villains in this. You know, like that they have to team up to deal with. I know there's the Wrecking Crew, right?
Yeah.
And I know that yes. I know they got empowered by Asgardian, whatever. You want to forget that, yeah.
Yeah.
If you just want them a team for the Fantastic Four to take down Mid Heist or whatever, you know, fair, you can do that.
Yeah.
They're not really Fantastic Four villains, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just trying to get away from Doom.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what other than Galactus, when technically Silver Surfer, I know. What's his name?
Annihilus.
Yeah, no. Black Panther didn't count up the Fantastic Four at one point, but he's not exactly a villain.
Yeah,
The Heralds of Galactus, right?
Yeah.
Fire Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if they had, okay, I don't want to say they're going to be the Heralds of Galactus that they fight, right? But you could have them as the Black Order, as Galactus version of the Black Order. That they like the scout team, kind of. But they are the main villains of the movie. They're just leading to something else. So you have Terrax, which is he's got the powers of Earth-based, whatever, right? It's in rocks and stuff. And Firelord with the power of fire. And it's like, yeah, okay, they're kind of like enhanced versions of the Fantastic Four, but not.
Yeah.
Well, those two, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could have them as the main threats for one movie. But they're impending doom, impending fear of Galactus coming. Could build them like for suspense.
Yeah, but that's only. I don't think had that trailer for back then.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
The Mole Man, but he's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he's him.
The Puppet Master.
Oh yeah, that's what's the name's dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But then I don't really want to see that in a film. It'd be quite boring.
No, exactly. The Impossible Man, which basically is Mickey Picklick, right, but not kind of.
Yeah.
I think it'd be too wacky for a film though. If it was a TV episode, fair enough.
Is Molecule Man
yes,
Fantastic
but
Four
not
villain?
kind of ish. But then he's too powerful.
Yeah, he's like N-word something.
I can also see if they do if Namor is like, oh yeah, Sue Storm, all right, well I'm coming over. I want a piece of that. But then you kind of like you would have to have him be turned into a hero at the end of it.
Yeah.
So you've got to have someone else but to misdirect him on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we kind of seen that before. As in, you get manipulated by the hero. It's got to be something else if Namor's going to be... But he can never be the main villain because he's a hero.
Yeah, it depends what...
He could be the Vegeta, but he needs someone else to... There needs to be someone behind him. Not necessarily behind him, but like it needs to be... He could be a plot villain, and then you need someone else as a B plot to get the...
Yeah.
You know, so never can do his turn.
Yeah, or just not bother with Namor. Just you
Yeah,
read
yeah,
too
yeah,
much
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hassle.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, Claw, but then
yeah.
he's Black Panther,
Black
really.
Panther more though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Ronan the Accuser, but then of course they've already,
Yeah, and that's to do space
Oh,
and stuff.
the Kree, which they in the comics turned them into cows.
No, they turned
No,
not
it
the
was
Kree,
Scrolls
the
turned into
Scrolls. Yeah,
they, yeah, 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 yeah. Not exactly the most diverse
uh,
villain set, and other like then you're saying, other than Doom, what other ones are well known? Well,
that's the thing. None. That's why they always go back to Doom. Because Doom is
yeah,
their be or end all, really, isn't it? So, oh,
yeah,
gosh.
but he could be the main like. Okay, so he could be working with the Fantastic Four, like if you want to do like a trilogy of movies, for example, right?
Yeah,
And he could be the final villain because then he's like, yep, I know all your weak. I've worked with you. I know your weakness because you gotta kind of have Doom. I know the tradition is to start having Doom be in the accident with them. Right? Don't necessarily need to do it, but you
nah.
got to tie in Reed Richards and Doom's
Rivalry
arrogance.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I got scarred. I got scarred. Right. You know how this origin was, yeah.
yeah,
I got this minor scar on my face, and I tell you what I'll do. Yeah, I need to cover up because it hurts me to see my own scarred face in the mirror. What I'm gonna do is put this mask on. But master, this mask is yet to be cooled down. I'll slap on my face anyways. Richards, it's your fault
yeah.
now. It's your fault I scarred my own face because I covered it up with a stupid heated mask.
Like, all right. It was
Yeah.
your own fault for being stupid, but
Yeah. But you could have like, like as we were saying, he's got science and magic.
yeah,
So you could time with whatever science villains they have to fight for the first two movies, and then start learning magic or something to enhance himself, whatever, right? But he doesn't. He could be like a big villain for your finale.
yeah,
Doesn't need to be like the first villain for them to put together to fight. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. No, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Yeah. All in all, like we're saying, all of these movies.
Yeah,
Okay, the Tim Story movies, I would say are forgettable, right? If we had a conversation without me rewatching as we did with Spider-Man, right? I'd be like, you probably end up reminding me of certain things,
yeah.
and I'd be like, oh, this, that, and the other,
Huh.
right? But otherwise, yeah, I don't know, not much to say personally for me.
Yeah, I get that. Because, like you
Uh,
said before, they're not terrible, but not
yeah,
great. They're just
yeah,
like
yeah.
middle of the road.
Rewatching Fantastic Four 2015, I'll be like, I was like, again, taken in by okay, forget the childhood bit of it, right?
Yeah.
But a bit where they start doing the building the device to go into Planet Zero. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I like the slow build here.
Yeah,
But then they just the last half of the film was on fast forward.
yeah, pretty much.
Not even half, the last third of the film, which is the last half an hour of the film.
Yeah,
I have to say as well, I did like how it's the science fair and Reed Richards, I'm going to make a teleporter when he's like a 10-year-old, whatever, and then skip, what, 7 years later, whatever he is. Oh yeah, I made this teleporter, right?
yeah,
And let me show you what it works. Flick it, like, take the little kid's plane, put it on the teleporter, lights flicker on and off because it disappears,
yeah.
right? And then it comes back and it goes, oh yeah, now it's covered in sand. Yeah, I teleported. And then the teacher's like, Reed, you got to stop this because you basically made the lights go out to distract us, right? Then you removed it, and then you put it back with sand on top of it, and you said it teleported. The same, it's not it's not an illusionist school right here. You're not like David Copperfield and that.
Yeah.
Right? You just like expect us to believe that's legit teleportation when you just you don't have beautiful assistants to distract us. No, you just kind of like got the lights to whatever. Yeah. But other than that, it's like I thought it had potential, but kind of like didn't reach it.
Yeah. Well, I just think that film was destined to fail, no matter what happened.
in either case, right?
Yeah. But I get you. I agree with you.
Oh, okay. No, I like to. Oh, yeah. Okay, you're probably right, but I'd like to believe from the first part of the film it was heading in one direction, and if it continued that direction, even though it wouldn't have been 100% a Fantastic Four film, it would have been a more interesting film.
Yeah, but I don't even think it would have. Like with his films, like even Chronicles,
Yeah.
that kind of goes some weird left turn as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, ish. But Chronicles more straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So no. Yeah. I think we're saying okay. No. Tag this on at the end of it.
All right.
Mr. Fantastic in Multiverse of Madness. I know, even though I know it's not really, yeah, but whatever, right?
Yeah,
But
technically it is.
what do you have? Are you excited to see where they go with it? I think John Krasinski did quite good with what he was given. Yeah.
But is he actually going to be Mr. Fantastic in the official MCU films? Remember,
Probably
he's
not.
from.
But his costume looked good,
Yeah.
and I will give him that. I will say the costumes in the 1994 film did not look good.
Nope.
The costume in the 2005-2007 film, they were plain, but they looked all right.
Yeah, they looked realistic for the time.
Yeah. More modernized for that era.
Yeah.
You know how like the X-Men were wearing black costumes and stuff like that, right? And I will say the Fantastic Four film, the 2015, they didn't really have costumes, but they had stuff made from. They had, yeah, exactly.
Stuff made from stuff.
It suited the story they were telling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for the thing didn't even have trunks or anything like that. I was like,
No.
Okay.
Which I didn't mind because he technically didn't have a penis, so
yeah. An orange stalk, as they called it, more rats.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, yeah. What do you, okay? So before we were saying about the size of the thing,
Yeah.
and I know they've made the Hulk bigger through the movies, right?
Yeah.
Being Lou Ferrigno being 6'5", is quite tall anyways, right? But I think the Hulk's meant to be about 7 foot. Okay.
7, 8
back
foot,
in the 90s, whatever. But he gradually got bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the thing not being the height that his statistic height that Marvel say he is?
In which one? Like in
yeah, you're right.
The
Okay, in the 1994 film, because he's taller than he should be,
yeah,
and in the 2015 film.
2015, I didn't mind his size because he was quite big and wide.
But you didn't mind that they changed his size. It kind of just probably made more sense for the movie, you reckon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Because like, what? How tall is he meant to be?
6 foot.
Well, the Thing is meant to be 6 foot when he's the Thing.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
No, it is.
Nah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, what do you think of the height change?
Silly.
Yeah.
I prefer him being big because like, who's intimidated by a 6 foot rock dude? You know, he's got to be bigger than that.
Yeah.
That is so silly. Sorry.
No, but you're right. That's because, but then when you look at it, like he's got to be more of a like a hulking mass, right? Like a Hulk, right?
Yeah.
But you're like, no, if he's small and dense, it just looks a bit and wide. Yeah. But that being the size of the Hulk that just keeps on going up and up and up. So Thor, Chris Hemsworth is 6'4".
Yeah.
Hulk is what? About 8 foot in the movies.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Because he's massively taller than Thor.
Yeah.
I think by Ragnarok he's actually, I don't want to say 9 foot.
He might be. He might be by then.
I mean, with the hammer that he was throwing,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Ah, that's wow. How is he that tall?
Yeah.
Okay, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know like he's kind of another one in the comics who's kind of got bigger over time as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily know. That's the thing. I think they try to keep some. Yes, I think sometimes they keep. He's been the most consistent height though, but I think he has gotten taller and taller somehow in his rock form. You're telling me in his rock form he suddenly hits puberty and it gets bigger and bigger. I don't know about that. I don't know exactly. But that's the thing is Hulk gets bigger and bigger, and then they've got to size up the thing to be a little bit more. I don't know how you're going to say unless you're going to say he mutated by getting a power boost. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't mind him being bigger, like you're saying, because of the way that they portray him.
Yeah, it kind of makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, for some reason that's just thrown me off so much. I don't know
Well,
why.
I think that's because you probably at the time you're reading it, because of the height of all the other characters, you're like, oh, he's big, a massive, wide creature. Yeah, he's got to be
Yeah.
proportionally this size, but it's
Yeah.
not the case. But then you don't expect him to be so squat either,
No.
and he fights the Hulk, so
Yeah, so it's like, oh wow, that's just,
yeah,
oh
yeah. But then I think he needs to be wide.
yeah, he needs to be wide
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah. I don't think I think my the thing costume wasn't as wide as how I expected the thing to be. But as a costume, as a physical costume, though, it looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really good.
Yeah. Would you prefer the thing to have a practical costume with CGI enhancements, or do you think the CG thing?
I don't know, maybe a mix of both, like they kind of do with Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's half CG, half real, isn't it? So maybe
I
that.
think there are real parts to it,
Yeah,
depending, by the way, on which movie,
yeah,
because at some point it just turned all CG.
yeah, that is true. The later ones when he doesn't really have the bulky shoulder pads, yeah, it's all
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Where it's just basically they cover him with. It just basically goes over his skin like a living costume.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
But yeah. All right.
that's
Oh,
upset.
okay. No, nothing. No other comments you wanna?
I don't know. I like both interpretations of Doom. That's like in the
Both. There's
2015.
three interpretations of Doom.
Well, I don't class the first one as anything.
Oh, okay. Well, because the first one was not actually meant to be released. In your mind, it's still not released.
Yeah,
Is that what you
no.
intend? So you haven't retconned the existence of it because it never existed in the first place.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. It never
it's a
happened.
fan-made
Okay.
film
All right.
to me.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
it's not canon. So
It was never meant to be seen, and it still has not been seen, apparently.
nope, and it will never will be.
Yeah, and they banned the negatives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
All right.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
That's us for this episode, then, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us. Well, I want to say reminisce, but we're going to be having a look about the comic book movies.
Yeah.
Comic book superhero movies. So let's just see how far we get about. Because there's some when you bring up stuff, you're like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that when you watch back, you're like, I haven't seen this for years, right?
And you remember why?
yeah, not only that, but then you watch it and you're like, there's some off-key stuff here. It's
Yeah.
very odd.
How did that fly?
Yeah, and even if you even if you realize it at the time, you're like, but let's see where let's talk about it, see where it goes, because maybe like you come up with some stuff to justify certain things, or I might do or something.
Yeah.
Like you're like, yeah, it's not a plot hole, it's just
Lazy rhyme.
yeah, I don't know, whatever. Yeah,
And I can see the ones be coming up in the future. I can't really see them having like bad plot holes and stuff like that. So we shall see. But yeah, I hope you all did enjoy us reminiscing and conversating about these. Let us know if you've actually seen any. I'm pretty sure most of you've seen the 2007 and the 2015 Fantastic Four franchises. So let us know what you thought about them, and if you want to watch the 1994 one, it's on YouTube. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't
Well,
say that.
yeah. But we'll also pretend you never said that because
Yeah, no.
you don't to you it doesn't exist anyways.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, so let us know. What was your favorite interpretation of Marvel's first family?
Yeah. And because they all had Doctor Doom, might as well throw Doom in there as well.
Yeah, and Mr. Von Doom. Would you have changed any of the villains? Would you have added anything? Do you believe that the Josh Trank film was a disaster from day one, or there's some weird, hidden, awesome version in a different universe where it did actually the light of day? Let us know by interacting with us on the YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, or even email us, and we'll get back to you. But until next time, thank you for taking a trip with us around the 3 different multiverses of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.